Back on golf today, we turn our focus to the LPGA Tour. Hyunju Kim returned to the winner's circle this weekend, dominating the field at the Ascendant LPGA, benefiting Volunteers of America. Wire-to-wire finish, one of just two players to shoot all 4 rounds under par at Old American Golf Club. Secured a 4-shot win with a 69 on Sunday, minus 13 overall. And the victory marks its 2023, it's her 3rd season in a row with a win. I want to say it was 21, 22, and 23. There you see it, a 4-shot victory. And also on the leaderboard, you see Lexi Thompson. She finished solo 5th, eh?
And there's a little more Lexi Thompson news, Damon. The 11-time LPGA Tour winner will tee it up this week. The Shriners Children's Open on a sponsor invite over on the PGA Tour, and she joins a distinguished list of top women players over the years who've teed it up on the PGA Tour. Obviously, Michelle Wee West has done that 8 times more than anyone else. Babe Diedrichson Zahari still has the best finish of any woman who's teed it up in a PGA Tour event. That was 33rd, the 1945 Phoenix Open, but Brittany Lincecum, Susie Whaley, Anuka Sorenstam, and the great Shirley Spork also on that list. And we're joined now by my Golf Week colleague, senior writer Beth Ann Nichols. Beth Ann, the LPGA Tour does have an event this week, but it's middle of the night in Shanghai. Probably not going to get a lot of attention. This has to be a good way for the women's game to actually get some attention this week. Is it good for women's golf? Is it good for Lexi?
Well, I don't think it's nearly the same amount of pressure as we've seen for someone like Anuka Sorenstam, for example, at Colonial, or a Michelle Wee West. I think for Lexi Thompson, should she make the cut this week, it would change the way people would talk about her for the rest of her life, for sure. Should she miss the cut this week, I don't really think much changes. I think there will be a lot of eyeballs on this event, which is always a great thing for the LPGA. I admit when I first heard this news, it was really surprising given that Lexi was in the midst of her worst season on the LPGA. However, she's found something undeniably. And, Angela Stanford told me last week that Stacey Lewis told Lexi in Cincinnati before the Solheim Cup that she was not going to play in foursomes, and she was prepared to sit her. And Lexi found something in that time off between the Cincinnati stop and Spain, and she has carried it on past the Solheim Cup, gaining the confidence of a lot of folks. So, I think that there are going to be hopefully a lot of parents who take their kids out to watch Lexi Thompson, and Lexi Thompson is extremely good at interacting with fans, one of the best on the LPGA, and I think a lot of youngsters will have a week that they'll never forget.
And she's a bona fide star, 11-time winner, a major champ, a fixture on the Solheim Cup team. She has not won in 4 years, hasn't had a great season, as you mentioned. How do you think she will handle the scrutiny, the spotlight, if she doesn't play well this week?
Well, I think it might. I'm hopeful that it's good both inside and outside the ropes. I know she's going to be great with fans. I know she's going to be great, with everyone she interacts with, in terms of the galleries. I hope that she gives us some honest assessment in the press afterwards, and that, it would be great if she opened a vein and really talked about the experience in a brutally honest way, because I think that would be a really great insight into Lexi Thompson. But I think when you look at her background playing, growing up with 2 brothers who went on to earn their own PGA Tour cards, it's a unique environment that she's grown up in, playing alongside brothers that she's been chasing who are, world-class players. So, I think that Lexi will feel more comfortable on the PGA Tour than most women. I also think that her game often is inhibited. She's held back on the LPGA. So, she has an opportunity to really let it loose, show off her distance. And if she's hovering around the cut line, she will feel a lot of pressure, but it won't be anything like a major championship, in my opinion, because we expect her to win those, right?
And Beth Ann, you also talked, I believe, with Susie Whaley, who knows a little something about playing in the PGA Tour event. She did so at the Travelers, and Susie would probably admit that she didn't bring as much firepower to the tee as Lexi Thompson is going to bring, but that's obviously only part of what goes on that week at a tour event. Did Susie give you any insight as to the kind of people who made it work for her that week and what Lexi will need as a kind of support system around her?
Well, I think one of the most interesting differences between Susie and Lexi is that Susie had months and months and months leading up to this moment. And she said, Lexi's going to get a lot of criticism on social media. Maybe she'll hear some things from fellow players out there, but for Susie, all that came in the mail. She could go to her mailbox and take out a letter and wouldn't know if it'd be someone, loving on her or hating on her when she opened it up. So, she had to deal with it for a long time. And Peter Jacobsen was a huge help to her in the months leading up to it. And then the week of as well. She said Paul Azinger came to her right off the bat, one of the first people she saw that week, and said, Susie, anything you need, I'm here for you. David Faraday walked around with her during a practice round offering advice. And Peter Jacobsen, of course, played with her during a practice round and actually taught her a chip shot that she said really made a tremendous difference that she used throughout her time that week and continues to use it to this day. So Peter Jacobsen, of course, went on to win that week, which she said was just a beautiful moment for her, given what he meant to her to have a successful week.
Love pros helping other pros. Now, Hyo-Joo Kim won the tournament in Texas. Lindsay Weaver-Wright, T16 finish, great hole out. She's one of the many moms on tour. I'm impressed. I bow down. How do these mighty, strong women make it work as a mom on tour?
Man, I'm impressed too. I got to tell you, I don't know how they get their sleep, but here's Lindsay right here, Lindsay Weaver-Wright, holing out for 137 yards on her final shot before she sails into maternity leave, which is so beautiful, on her home course in Texas. She's a member there at the Old American Golf Club, lives nearby, and she says she's going to come back in March. That's the plan right now. She's due to have a baby boy in December. There have been a number of players who've given birth this year: Caroline Masson, MB Park, Amy Olsen. It'll be interesting to see Sophia Popov. It'll be interesting to see how many of them do come back to the LPGA and when they do. But I think we're seeing a lot more players come back that quite frankly, I thought would. I thought some players that would sail off into the sunset and leave competition behind. But with the Smuckers daycare available to them and looking at players like Lexi, excuse me, got Lexi on the brain. Stacey Lewis continuing to have so much success and to win as a mom on tour, I think has been really inspiring for a lot of players.
It could be more competitive to get a spot in daycare next year than it could be to keep a tour card at this rate, Beth Ann. But there were a lot of great stories this weekend. Catherine Musi, who was a Monday qualifier, finished in the top 10. Another great narrative out there. What can you tell us about her?
This is a really interesting storyline from the standpoint, not just what happened with Catherine, who Monday qualified for her first LPGA start, finished in the top 10, which was incredible, tie for 7th. But she just graduated from South Carolina this past year and received a scholarship, if you will, an endorsement from the Anuka Foundation, where she has the ability to get $10,000 for the next 3 years to help with her a stipend for travel and entry fees, just like the tournament she just played in. She has free housing in Aiken, South Carolina, and she can play at the Old Barnwell for 3 years as well, which is just a tremendous stepping stone for these young professional athletes. And Anuka, it's actually her birthday today. Happy birthday, Anuka! Setting this up for 4 players who play in the Carolinas area or Georgia. Played either a residence or played college golf there. And it's just something that Sweden actually, Anuka is very well aware of what Sweden does for a lot of its young amateurs who are making the transition to the professional ranks. So to offer something like this is tremendous and could be life-changing for someone like Catherine.
Happy birthday, Anuka, friend of the program. Beth Ann, we detailed the pressure of Korn Ferry Tour. Rafael Campos finished 30th on the list on his way to the PGA Tour. Any similar stories that you found at Daytona on the Epson Tour?
There were 2 players who came into the Epson Tour Championship who were outside of the top 10 and played their way in. Austin Kim, who was 15th going into the week, she won the tournament to vault up to 3rd on the money list and earn her card. And then Kristen Gilman, a 2-time U.S. Women's Amateur champion, who had an LPGA card back in 2019 and played well enough to qualify for the CME Group Tour Championship. She lost her status and was back out on the Epson Tour all year this year. And I talked to Kristen this morning, and she said, standing on the 16th green, she looked up at the scoreboard and realized that she really needed to make something happen here on the last couple of holes at LPGA International. So what does she do? She goes to the par 3 17th. She hits a 6-iron to 8 feet, knocks that in for birdie, goes to the par 5 18th. It's a 4 hybrid in on her second shot to 5 feet, makes eagle. And that birdie eagle finish gives her the final LPGA card of the season from the Epson Tour. And so she'll be back out on the LPGA next year. And all Kristen, mini tour life is playing in a pro-am today, standing on the 13th tee, hitting driver after driver after driver for every group that comes through. So back to the grind, but with a big smile on her face and a lot of time off now because she gets to avoid LPGA Q Series. So it'd be great to see her back out there.
No doubt. In my next round of golf, I'm going to stand on the 16th tee and say, I really need to do something here. Maybe I'll finish birdie eagle.
Yeah, I think a couple of beers is what you need to do.
Yeah, it might be. Great stuff, Beth Ann. We'll speak to you soon.
Thanks. Sounds great.
All right, as Beth Ann mentioned, huge week for the Epson Tour. Let's get an update on the Epson Tour. That's the road to the LPGA. Austin Kim, as mentioned, won the 2023 Epson Tour Championship on Sunday in Daytona Beach, Florida. Not only did the Vanderbilt University grad claim her first pro victory, but she also earned a spot on the LPGA Tour for 2024. And in the season-ending event on the Epson Tour, the top 10 finishers, there they are in the race for the card. Money lists have been awarded LPGA cards for 2024. I've emceed this ceremony in the past. It's always an emotional day. Sometimes they take a plunge into the pool, always Prosecco or champagne for the celebration. These are the 10 Epson Tour graduates on their way to the LPGA Tour.